Welcome to Week 3, Special Topics in Executive, Court, and Agency Administration. The Administrator as an Educator, developing an online training module. During this session, I will be providing you an overview of designing and developing effective training programs for learning and development. Next week, or within the couple weeks to come, when you arrive at Las Vegas, we will be getting some specific training with respect to online training module. The purpose of this session is to focus primarily on giving you a broad picture of how you would go about designing, developing effective training programs. As a brief review, I want to focus on the differences between staff development, in-service, and educational training. Staff development focuses on the broad picture with respect to training, referring to all the procedures an agency might employ with an effort to enhance the job-related skills, knowledges, and attitudes of your staff or behavior. It encompasses in-service training, educational training. Examples of staff development may include orientation to your organization, covering your policies and procedures of your organization, an induction to agency's procedures in terms of safety, sexual harassment. When we get into in-service training, its primary focus is more on specific forms of staff development and it is context-free and concerned with practice in general. It focuses on the unit in terms of the staff training that your staff may need as a group or in a unit. Self-defense training, CPR, standard first training if you're in a detention facility. How to function in general as a unit with respect to probation or community-based organization. When you begin to focus on educational training, which is context-bound and concerned with practice in specific situations, you're focusing on the individual or individualized training, case management, time management, report writing procedures for probation officers, or report writing procedures for staff in detention or staff in a jail or prison in terms of what needs to be done there. Okay? So I think you can see the differences between staff development, in-service training, and educational training, much of which we covered in Week 2. Training ideas and outline process. Consider 5 steps. Assess and agree on training needs. Create training or development specifications. Consider learning styles and personality. Plan training and evaluation. Design materials, methods, and deliver training. I will focus in more detail as we move forward regarding these 5 steps. When we assess and agree on training needs, we're conducting a training needs analysis, and the goal is to improve performance. Usually when we do this, we think in terms of 5 steps: conducting a job analysis, comparing employee performance, prioritizing what we have determined would be our needs, group training issues into categories in terms of what type of categories of training that need to be done, and prioritizing these needs as a group. So when you conduct a job analysis, you need to begin to look at the job descriptions and what the duties and responsibilities are with respect to the employee and what it is that you want them to do. I've had some experience in doing this when I first began working as a trainer in the juvenile justice system, where I did do a task analysis process that was very long and intensive in terms of identifying all the specific duties and tasks that need to be done, and then looking at these tasks in terms of identifying what the specific skills and training that needs to go into with each of these tasks. When you compare employee performance, what you're looking at is your baseline in terms of what it is that you want your staff to do, how you want them to accomplish what needs to be accomplished, depending upon the rating scale or the rating system that you may have. Some organizations look in terms of the baseline as a satisfactory performance. Others look at the baseline in terms of a competency-based performance being the bottom line. As you prioritize your top 5 areas, there are a number of different ways that you can determine these priorities, either with your management team, or you can determine these priorities in conjunction with your management team and your staff together. When you're grouping training issues by categories, what you're trying to do is determine, what you could be doing is determining what training needs might be, for example, for your administrative staff, for your clerical support staff, versus what it might be for your probation staff, or what it might be for your various unit staff in the detention facility, as you begin to categorize this. Or direct service, you may categorize your training in terms of direct service or management, supervision, frontline supervision, mid-level management supervision, administrative supervision, in categories like this. Or you can prioritize needs as a group as it relates to what might be the specific needs of any particular group of employees or group of job functions and duties. Basic needs assessment techniques include, as you can see on this slide, 9 different approaches. Observation. Going to the courtrooms and observing your staff present in court. Observing what your staff are doing in the units in a facility. Going and observing your staff as they're interviewing individuals. Going to field visits with your staff. Questionnaires. Doing a survey and asking your staff what it is that they feel their training needs might be. You can do questionnaires of jurists in courtrooms in terms of how your staff present in court. You can use consumer surveys to get an understanding of how the public views your staff. You can do consultation with key people and talking with other individuals regarding the performance of your staff. Review the relevant literature. What does the literature say in terms of the fidelity of the model? And are your staff performing in a program with respect to that particular fidelity? Interviewing people, interviewing your staff, interviewing other individuals. Focus groups. You can do focus groups with respect to identifying training needs by selecting, if you're responsible for several units, have representatives from different units coming in and meeting and prioritizing these specific training that individuals may want. First, we're doing some brainstorming, identifying what these needs might be, and then selecting and prioritizing those individual needs. And this may involve 1, 2, maybe 3 meetings as you process what individuals are saying, in focus groups. Testing individuals in terms of their writing skills, giving them tests with respect to their job duties and what it is that they're supposed to be accomplishing as they perform their work. Records and report studies, reviewing records and seeing if they're completed, doing audits, doing annual audits, quarterly audits of records and information. And obviously through day-to-day supervision or weekly supervision or monthly supervision, looking at work samples of staff products that they're producing